Hi, welcome to the next installment of the GreatBuildz Guide. I'm Stephanie, your GreatBuildz concierge, here with Will. You may recognize Will from our interviewing contractors video. Will, thank you so much for being here again. Today, we're going to be discussing 3 common issues that clients and homeowners will be surprised by during a renovation process. Those are imperfections, the inspection process, and unforeseen conditions. Will has many years in the industry and can provide some insight into this. So let's get into the imperfections that can arise during a project and how to manage those expectations.
Great. First of all, I think it's recognizing that imperfections exist in every project. It's whether or not you notice them and how much they bother you. I think that's important. I typically like to think about things being square, flush, smooth. Those are some key words I think about to at least foster that conversation around getting on the same page with a homeowner as to what's important to you, because it's typical that you are going to have angles that aren't square, you are going to have things that aren't flush, and you are likely going to have surfaces that may or may not be smooth if you want them to be. And so having a quick conversation about what bothers you, some things can be corrected very easily, and others may be more costly to address, but that's a conversation you want to have so that you can make adjustments before you get into a project and you're on the same page as to what your expectations are in the built environment.
Sure. What can you live with? How particular are you about certain things, and are you willing to spend perhaps money or time in order to make things, the way that will be suitable for you and your environment? Great. Moving on, the inspection process.
Well, the inspection process is something that there's a level of the unknown related to it, and I think that's okay. You just need to understand when you're going into a project that there is some variability, and it can be variability in terms of who the inspectors are, the timing of inspections, whether or not the municipality you're working in is bumping inspections due to staffing issues or due to overload of projects, and then also interpretation on site. Code is an interpretation, and sometimes different inspectors will interpret code differently, and so that may result in changes to your project.
Great, that's great. Okay, and then finally, the third one, unforeseen conditions.
Well, they exist on every project because there are things about the built environment that you can't necessarily see at the very beginning, and that's okay. They aren't necessarily supposed to be feared, but it is a reality. And having a discussion about unforeseen conditions is important because you do want to do as much due diligence as possible to try and mitigate what could be unforeseen. But recognizing that if and when they come up, and as long as I've worked in the industry, they do come up, and it just depends on if it's on your project. But if and when they come up, that you have a game plan for communication and how you'll communicate that, because it isn't always necessarily a change order for a cost. It may be there's a decision to make that changes what we do down the line, and because of what we didn't know previously, we now have to communicate to come up with a different plan of attack.
Okay, and I think that this feeds into the importance of hiring the right contractor. If you have a contractor that you have a relationship with, that you have a trust that's been built, then you can, when imperfections arise, you know that the contractor's done everything that they can within their power to give you the best product that they can. It's important in the inspection process. You want to make sure your contractor's advocating for you and moving things along during that process. And same with unforeseen conditions. You want to be able to trust that when your contractor says to you, hey, there's no way I could have seen this coming, that you believe them. And I think, if you want to find a good contractor and you want to hire a good contractor, GreatBuildz is a great place to start because we have these ongoing relationships and our vetting process. Will is a wonderful contractor in our network, and it's a prime example of what you can get if you do your work at the front at the front end. I also think it's important with these to keep those things in mind. Have a little wiggle room in your budget. Have a little bit set aside for these kind of things that may come up that are unexpected. And have a little bit of wiggle room in your timing for any sort of unforeseen delays. Thank you so much for joining us again, Will. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to start a renovation project, we hope that you'll give us a call or visit our website at greatbuildz.com. Thank you so much. We look forward to helping you with your renovation project.